Hey guys, welcome to this video. This video is gonna be mainly for D5 render, and I'm pretty much just gonna show you guys a project, and we're gonna go through this together about exploring the how to use the AI agent and the capabilities, and also a little bit of the landscape, the scattering tool. So right now here, let me go here. So right now here, I have a project that I've been practicing a little bit on how to use scattering tool and the AI agent. And yeah, I mean, what we're gonna do together here is we're gonna explore that and see how can we, like make these a little better. So a lot of these plans that you've seen here, I just placed them manually. And a lot of the plans here that I place on this area here, I place them with the AI agent. Now, this is great for exploration. I think that you can use it very accurately, but you do need some knowledge when it comes to the names of the plants. Otherwise, the AI agent, you're going to be relying a lot on the AI agent positioning of the plants and everything, and the layout as far as the list goes. But if you are knowledgeable with the plants, then that's great. But this is like an example that I did on just by myself. But I was like, okay, how can I do this better as far as the AI agent? So whenever you click on here, so a way to use the AI agent is by clicking here. So you're in D5 render, like you will click on here, and it will automatically open the store for you. I'm gonna normally you will not have it like this. I'm just gonna put new chat. So this is what you will normally see. So there's the three capabilities of the AI agent are the smart planting and the plant schedule and the D5 bot, which is more like, it's kind of like a chat bot. Like if you need like those automated chat bots, like they will give you answers to the things. So it's not different that if you go to a website and there's like a chat bot that if you will have questions, like most likely the chatbot is gonna give you answers, or it's gonna give you links of where to find the answers that you're looking for. Not a fan of that, not for D5, just in general, not a fan of chatbots. But yeah, that's the one that you have right now. If you have any questions on how to use it, that's fine. Plant schedule is useful as far as you need like a plant schedule and you're a landscape architect, or you just want to know how many plants are you using, or a cost estimate of the plants. That's fine. Again, I don't see that being too relevant, just because plans will change cost depending on what country are you from, what region are you from, what season are you buying them, what stage are you buying them, the plants. So I don't see that too reliable, except that it might give you a cool cost estimate. But what I think about that it's cool is like if you can export, like after you have like the landscape, you can export that list from the D5 render. You can export that list and then have like a representation of what plants you're using. So, but what you're gonna be using 80% of the times, and the thing I want to really be focusing on is on smart planting, because that's where you're gonna be using most of the time. So for the majority of the things, I think 80% of the times whenever you're using the smart planting, you can use what's already laid out here. Now you can actually create a prompt by yourself. So say create or design landscape that focus on native plants in Central California that are drought resistant. Let's see if it respects its only layout of 6 different plants and medium-sized rocks. Let's see if it does that. Otherwise, you can use the smart planting, and it will pretty much create like a paragraph or sentence for you, where you will be able to just change the country, the region, the climate, and all that. So, all right. So here we'll give you questions: blue, purple. Your choice. I will be able to put together a beautiful design that fits for you. Okay. So you can say green tones, blue, purple, mild only. With always mainly only a little bit of color, blue and yellow are fine. I think it's because it's saying like if it's a lot of flowers. But let's see if it's smart and actually can realize. So as you can tell, like it gave me, it's not, I think it's great in the fact of that this tool is amazing, but I still need some work, because I did say like I only want 5 different plants of this layout, and it gave me 20. Now, for a landscape person that is dedicated for landscape and knows about their plants, that's great, because it can really how do I say, it can really go ahead and eliminate. But for someone like me that I'm not that familiar with the names of plants and everything, I just want like a minimal layout. I don't want 20 plants because now it gets very like intimidating. Like, how am I gonna know? So what I know the few, right? Like agaves. Okay, yeah, you definitely want those. But for instance, if you want to delete one, you can right click on it and just say delete. So I'm just gonna delete a lot of them until I just stay maybe with 7 or 8 of them, just because I don't want a lot of them. I don't want the viola. So, and again, if you are not familiar with the names of plants, these might be, you might want to place all of them in one. So for instance, what I will do I will auto scatter this, right? Just so I kind of get idea what plants is it using. So I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna say create. And then from there, I can really start saying, okay, what are the plants that I like on this layout and what are the plants that I don't like in this layout. So let's click enter here. Let's get out of this. Let's see if it actually created this. It's gonna update all. And let's see, choose. So it created all this. So now I like this layout, but it's too busy. Not the fact that, of course, the area is busy, but I would not like too many flowers. So the great thing about this is you can modify. So for instance, this say Armenia Armani, you can go ahead and here you can take that out, right? It doesn't have those anymore. So what else? I like these ones, but I just don't like the fact that I don't want too many plants. So these starting to look better. These ones here I like it, but maybe a little less. And maybe instead of 83 scale, you can adjust scale to 50, so they are not used, so they are little. So you see how you really adjust that. All right. What else? I like these ones, but they still seem a little bit too much. So I'm gonna say 60, and then I'm gonna change the scale of this. So if you click on the name, it will automatically open the scaling. And then here's where you can kind of change a little bit the weight and all that. So you say, for instance, 40. You will adjust a little bit the weight on how much they look, generating direction. Okay, you want to keep those. But really what you're going to be using is the scale, because here's where you're going to be adjusting a lot of that, right? So you might want to keep it in 80, maybe a little less than that, 60. I think there's like 2. So if I click on this one, you see there's another one here. So they're probably similar plants, but not the same type. So I'm going to say 80. You see how now it's looking a little bit better, right? Now I'm looking for, you know which one I'm looking for? I'm looking for the, oh, there it is. There are the agaves in there. So here, for instance, I might want to do 153, right? And here I might want to say, what's the probability of the weight? Volume, huh? Interesting. I wonder why is it just putting them all the way here and not here, right? Like, how can I change that? So I think when I create that, I wonder if it tells me here. So when you do this, it will give you the layout, but I wonder if you can, you see how those highlights, that's where it's giving it the layout. But I wonder if you can modify. Let's see, if you do scatter presets. Oh, no, that's not it. Because I want to keep that one, but I would like to modify the layout, right? So it's giving me this. So how do you, oh no, I did not want to do that. No, so I kept that. So that's good. For instance, this plant, maybe I think, okay, this plant is great, but I don't want it, I don't want it to look too big, right? Like, maybe want to keep it at 20, but now it looks not great. So that's the right spot. And then you can complement this with, you can go on list. For instance, a way I found that you can have more control on this is like, once you are done with this, you will go back to the advanced, to the brush. And for instance, if I say, like, this looks good. I mean, the way I'm looking this AI agent tool is like something that it will get you 80% there. And then the other 20% to, sometimes if you're not looking for a lot of detail, you just want plants for a rendering, great. But if you're really more detailed on exactly the plant that you want and exactly how it looks, then I will say it's kind of like doing AI with Midjourney and stuff. It will get you 80% there, but you might still need to do some post-production. So for that, I will use brush, and I will go to assets, And then in assets, I will, for instance, do, then is when you will actually start, how do you call this? You will start complementing what the AI already gave you. So for instance, here, I would normally say, okay, let's do the agave here. So you go here to the search tool and say agave and say, you know what? I really like this one, you know, and I wonder, we use the scatter. No, I'm going to say advanced tool and it will give me these ones here. But then here's where you will start saying, okay, I want the agave. Right, but here's where you will start putting different types. So you will say, okay, 1, 2 different types will be fine because this is just such small little spots. And radius, I will put maybe 20. Oh, what happened? What happened? Okay, advanced again, 20 radius. And then here's where I will do this. And then you click, and then you click scrape, and it should start generating the agaves right there. So we'll see. We will see if it does it. I don't know why he didn't do it. Did he do it? That's interesting. Okay, so let's do it again. Advanced 20. Okay, I didn't place the content. That's what's going on. Okay, so he created the section, but for whatever reason, he didn't place the agaves in there. So, oh yeah, so we are there. We have the agaves. We have the agave selection again. Great. Okay. Now that we have that, we get out of this. We go to the agave section, and we do 20, and then we click on it, and then we scale 20, and then the other one also scale 20. Maybe this one here we can schedule it to 40, and then we're gonna increase a little bit the thing there, and then maybe you do scale 30 because it's starting to look a little too much. Okay, great. And then we go to the other one and we'll say, okay, we're gonna scale it a little bit to 30, and then we're gonna increase the amount of agaves we want on here. So let's say I want, that's weird. That's not, probably there's not enough space. All right, you see how it doesn't do it. So that's something to kind of keep a track on it. Like, depending, I mean, a lot of it's not working because the scale is very low. But you see how now you have the agaves in there, right? And if you really want to be more specific, you can just go ahead to the asset, you know, and then go to the model and then just say agave, or just put any plant that you want, for instance. So I'll say I like that one specifically. And then you just place it there, right? Without being, with it being a lot more manual than, but that you want, right? But that's, to me, that's the power of it, of the AI, is that it saves you the time of giving you the foundation of the layout, and then along with the foundation of the layout, then you can go ahead and use the advanced brush or just individual assets to just complement it and make it look extra nice, for instance. Now, again, I'm just putting a plot for him. Normally, you will have these in the model. I'm just putting this as an example. Another thing you can do with it is you can go to the AI agent and go to the right side here and go to all chats. So for instance, there was another one that I generated in the past that was looking good. So you can go back to the previous chat that you had. So let's say after a few chats, let's say and this is out of more than one project, right? So you can just go to the chat and say, oh, I remember this one here that I did. So you can come here, the ones that you did, and that way you're not regenerating every time a conversation starts, right? So then you go ahead here, and it's supposed to auto-generate based on a previous chat that I created already, the plants, right? So here's another one that I created. And the great thing about this, again, that is supposed to save you the time. Now, you're gonna still modify it, adjust it, create more thing, add scales and everything, but I will always recommend to, if you wanna, I mean, for instance, if your rendering is right here, for instance, right? And now you have the foundation and you have a great layout, but maybe right there, now you can just spend like an extra 2 minutes, right? Like going to the assets and, you know, placing this one right there, right? And then just kind of make it the scale value instead of trying to fight the AI to give you the agave right there. Because sometimes, because it's an AI, it gives you a lot of good example as foundation, but maybe it doesn't. Again, if you want to be extremely specific on a plant being exactly in that spot to that specific scale, you're gonna have some difficulties, right? And you don't need to have like the whole thing like scattered. Maybe you want to, but if you're doing still renderings, maybe you just want, that's all you need, right? Like you're doing like a rendering writer or something, right? So that's another way to mix the AI agent, the smart planting, with that. So let's go another example here. So now let's actually try to use the smart planting. So if you go again to, let's go to AI agent. Remember, you click on there. If you are kind of doing this and you already kind of click on a chat, you go to this side here and click new chat and it will reset it. So now we're gonna go to the seasonal. So you can click on any of these ones, but for instance, right now I'm gonna try this one. And what you do when you click on any of these, it will auto-generate the text for you here. Now the great thing is you can put in Spanish, you can put any language, and it will generate. So here we're gonna say, what do we say here? Let's say East Coast. Well, let's keep it. Yeah, let's actually say East Coast. Well, you know what? Let's actually say France. Right? Why not? France. They say olive. Sunrush. Humid, sure. And let's say fall. Right? So let's click on that. Generally speaking, you want to keep it simple because what the AI is doing is just really going to the plants. And the plants already, I'm sure that the way they did it is that each plant has keyframes, like keywords that link to whatever your prompt is. So you don't have to make specific long things. You can just make sure like each sentence that you write has keywords that are going to be there. So France loving me, take a look at the request, almost detailed. Here's what I gathered so far. We're going to for natural, seasonal, perfect. That's a great thing that before it actually creates the thing, it actually confirms what you want, and you can always detail it more. So, okay, which is the idea for the clean blooms. However, I just need a tiny bit of clarification. One of the things before we can finalize the design, the olive palette you mentioned is super unique, but I need to match it to one of the available color schemes. So what happened probably here is that between the colors, olive is not a color it has, so it's missing the match of the color. So it wants to be more specific. You can simplify the color, right? So the right flowers, could you pick blue, purple, white, pink, red, or yellow to best represent the vibe you're going for? Once you let me know the color preference, yeah. So let's say I want to say yellow, right? So it will automatically link to the AI agent like that. So I think it's very smart what they're doing. I do hope they improve it a little bit. And for instance, again, it created 20 of them, which I don't love the idea that it has. I mean, I would love the idea that it can simplify. So I wonder if I can you simplify the list? Let's see if it actually is smart enough to simplify the list. Okay. He's making a lot of things for just simplifying a list. Okay, so just simplifying to minimize flowers. Let's see. I mean, I don't want to read the whole paragraph here because then it will take me more time. But let's see if it does that. If your list includes important models. So here, give me a more simplified list, which is better than this whole list here. I can keep fighting it, but for now, let's say something that I wish they could implement is like these could actually be like a smart brush or something, because at this moment you can just auto scatter. So whenever I click auto scatter, it will generate that, but I wish it could give me the control to kind of like the brush where I can just put it here and there. But as of right now, it only has the option to auto scatter, which is great, but I wish it could also have the option to just use it as a brush in a way. Okay, so let's see that it's generating. And I know this is a little longer video, guys, but I'm just trying to kind of, you see how cool this looks? Like, yeah, I mean, this is definitely cool. You see, and it kind of gave me that France look. And you can have like very cool renderings here, like, right? Like, that is pretty cool. Okay, so let's do one last one here, and then I changed the shape on this one. And again, ideally you want to do this on your 3D model, right? Right now I'm just doing it like this because when I created this, I realized that because it's doing the auto scatter, like if I click on this, it will take the whole thing as one, where you have to understand, like if you're already planning to use the AI agent, you really want to divide the landscape to where exactly you want the plants. If you're planning to use the AI agent, in that way you're looking ahead. In that way, whenever you click on something, it's not going to select the whole thing. And that's why I wish in the AI agent they implement the brush so you can have a little bit more control of exactly where you want it. So let's do one last one here. So we go back again to this, and now we're gonna use the, let's say the minimalist, right? And on this one here, we're gonna say minimalist Florida garden featuring primary foliage in, what do we say? West Coast, California. It must be thrive on drought, and it must be dry. Must include rocks and agaves. Okay, so let's see if it actually is smart, because I mean, ideally when you use the smart planting, it should be a guide. I mean, you might want to add to it, right? So I don't know if it can include rocks. I hope it does. I specifically asked if it can include rocks, and I'm sure it's gonna give me a overwhelmed list that I wish it could just simplify, but let's see what it gives me. So then I will auto scatter in here, and you can regenerate. If you don't like the list, you can always regenerate. You can just click export to kind of generate an Excel file. So let's go here and see what it gives me. So it's gonna take a minute. Then I use escape, and then let's see what it has for me. I'm gonna update all. Let's see. Okay, so I don't see any rocks first of all here, right? Or stones or boulders or whatever you want to call it. So I think it's perfect? I don't think it's I think for the sake of having a rendering, having like things like that, I think it's great for ideation and exploration. I think if you are working on a design, for instance, I'm working right now with a landscape architect on this, and these would not necessarily work. As far as this will be great if I'm just doing renderings and do this will be great. But as far as having a very specific list that I need to, it might, I mean, I'm gonna have to do a lot of adjustments, right? Like for instance, I might not want that one. And then I might have to just add a lot of, we'll probably have to complement it with the brush, right? With the stone, I will have to complement it with the advanced brush, for instance. And then just my advanced brush, I might need to, you see how it did not include agaves, and it did not include any rocks. So for instance, I will include it with that. I'll include this one. I might include, I mean, just for the sake of the example here, let's say I'm gonna include stones, or maybe I should have put stones. Maybe that's why maybe they did not include it the right way. I'm gonna include pebbles. I'm gonna include what else? Crops, agaves, and let's say I'm gonna include a cactus, right? So once you have these ones in place, I'm gonna include that. Then you come here, and then yeah, and then here I can just kind of go like all over the place, right, and complement it. And now that's great. So I come here, and then here I can adjust manually, like 50 maybe, and then here I can adjust this to 60. Hopefully it's gonna adjust. Not. Oh, it's Agaves Americana. That's why it didn't adjust. Yeah, so it will adjust, and it will. I mean, the good thing is scatter them like to a point where like I'm like, yeah, I mean that's fine. You see, so then it's starting to. You see, once you complement it with your own design as far as the rocks go and things like that, then that might start kind of looking a little bit better. But yeah, this is something about the kind of mixing a little bit the AI agent on landscaping along with the advanced brush and just locating your set of assets there. Something I would recommend just as a last thing, if you're planning to use this for still renderings, I will definitely say pick a view first, and then from there really start designing. Then from there you can really start kind of saying, okay, where does it make sense for me to, for instance, I wouldn't use the AI agent if I have a still image like this, right? Because there's not a lot to, I mean, unless I really want to put a lot of plants here and everything. Yes, this needs a lot of work here. But for instance, if I was gonna do, let's say another view that I had saved here. So for instance, if I was gonna do a view here like that, and then I have a lot of landscaping here, yes, I might use the AI agent here, and maybe with a little complement of some things here. But if I'm gonna use something like as the picture I showed before, right, where you have this, and there's the street here, and then this, and you're gonna have to place the trees and all that, I would just do those manually. You don't have to really use the AI agent. So just like anything, the AI agent is great if whenever you know when to use it, and The best thing is when you know how to use it as far as modifying it, as I showed you before, and how to complement it with the advanced brush and the brush. So that's all I have for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys